Hey, this is this, and I'm just gonna do me a just me talking video on a few things. I know I'm a little late on this little part, but a few weeks ago, um, Microsoft is now allowing outward developers to, update their games on the Xbox Live for free now. And as we all and just recently, Fuzz can now update their program, which means in Fuzz is an independent game on Xbox Live. They'll be able to, basically, meaning the Xbox fanboys can finally get that Fuzz game updated after a year. And if none of you remember, um, the guy who created Fuzz was trying to update the game, and what happened was Microsoft asked for a shitload of money and even more money per every update, to the point that the guy just couldn't pay it anymore, and he just quit and just said no more. And now it's already been ported to the PC, and the Mac version's coming soon. And he basically ran around and started bad mouthing Microsoft over this. And this leads into a kind of a problem over Microsoft, is that they are bowing down and chickening out on a lot of things lately, especially after they already got two of their high-end staff members removed for their incredible stupidity. One of them was that Oath guy who, said deal with it and all devices always need to be online. And then you got John Murdoch, Matrick, yeah, Don Matrick, who was basically he basically got on Game Trailer and said, "Hey, look, we got it. If you can't have," and this is when they were still running with that DRM and always online checks. They're like, "Hey, if you want a device that's doesn't need to always be online, just get a 360. We don't want your money." And it was like a big fuck you against Microsoft. I mean, against pretty much everybody. But then again, the whole DRM scandal was a big fuck you to everybody. And then Microsoft ended up, and right before Don Matrick, left Microsoft, the DRM policies was reversed because they could, the PS4 and the Wii U, their pre orders already, they basically had already sold out on their pre-orders, even with the Wii U and the PS4. The Wii U took longer, but the PS4, it went like it only like 3 days before all their launch consoles were gone. But Xbox One, their launch consoles were still in the background, just collecting dust, and nobody was touching them. And Amazon, and a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, here's these articles saying that Amazon and Blockbuster are saying that the pre-orders for Xbox One were selling out," and they didn't. They didn't sell out worth a shit. Nobody even touched those pre-orders. Even the pre-order cards were stacking up. So yeah, Microsoft got rid of the DRM, and now they're getting rid of this whole pay for updating your games and shit, which is kind of funny because they seem to be backing out of a lot of encountering out on a lot of things out there. But with Microsoft folding like this, it's kind of funny. But the sad part is their Connect device, Connect 2.0, is still gonna is still required to always be connected no matter what. And of course, the Xbox One is an extra $100, so it's about $499 and promptly about $500. Yeah, it's still pretty fucking pricey. And of course, a non-removable hard drive, which yes, I complained about that on the Wii U. So yeah, you're gonna get no privacy in your Xbox One. I enjoy that because, and I find that even more funny, the requirement of the Kinect, and yet they've only had like 3 games on there that actually even utilizes that fucking camera, and the voice commands are, you know a part of is it's basically software. Unless you think you're like Samuel the Tech Geek who runs around trying to convince everybody that microphones can be programmed with voice commands, and I mean all microphones apparently, which is not fucking possible. You know, if that was true, we would have been using microphones for hard drives. And also, Microsoft has decided to go the whole Nintendo route. Now they're saying that they're going to go after trolls and bad mouthers and all this other shit, and people who say incorrect things or just trying to be dicks and all. Okay, I'll applaud them for it, but here's the real major problem I find with it. I don't see it as feasible. And yes, I know the Nintendo does the same thing with their Wii U, and they already have problems. And here's a little thing. And yeah, I do have my fits with the Nintendo Wii U, like the non removable hard drive. But I don't like their censoring policy neither. I think it's a fucking joke. And it's been a joke over at Nintendo, and Microsoft is going to have the same thing. I mean, the internet is huge, and if they get enough too many customer bases for their Xbox One, they won't have enough servers. Well, not really enough servers. I mean, they'll run all these programs just like YouTube does on their YouTube page, and it will have all the same problems, like banning people for the most slightest of idiotic things. I mean, and Microsoft tried this before and it failed. I mean, did you know? I forget where it is, but did you know there's an actual village out there in the United States somewhere called Cuntsville? And of course, and people were getting their Xbox Live accounts banned because they were putting, "Oh, I live in Cuntsville or Dick Village." Those are actual villages. I mean, actual places. I forget in which state and where they are. And Microsoft was, "Oh, we're banning your account because you're using obscenities." And it was a joke. I mean, it was just really bad, and it didn't work. And of course, I believe Nintendo's kind of having the same fucking problem too. And of course, they're now going through state libraries and looking at every town through a computer and all that crap. I don't know. The point is, I don't think it's feasible, and I don't think it's going to really work. And yeah, I don't think it would even work if Sony did the exact same thing. It's just not a feasible idea. I mean, these people are going to figure out ways around it. I mean, look at Apple and jailbreaking. Apple is constantly putting themselves at work to make sure that their iOS devices don't get jailbroken, and it's I wouldn't say it's a failure, but it's been causing them nothing but problems and headaches and endless amounts of updates over this. And one time they even tried to say, "Oh, but this is a rental device and you're just borrowing it from us." And of course, the judge got up there and said, "No, it isn't." And of course, Apple was forced to remove certain things from their iOS devices, let's just say. And it just failed miserably. And I just don't see this kind of mass censoring as a good thing. I see it as a complete mess that will explode in on itself and make customers more and more pissed off and angry. I mean, there's a reason why that whole original Nintendo, when Nintendo went batshit crazy and was censoring all the things all the way back in the 80s and the 90s, it just exploded in their faces. And I see the exact same thing happening here. And of course, it won't hit the games though. It's more against the customers and them banning accounts and all this other crap for just our pictures that look like penises and all that, or all that shit, or have or living in a town or a city named after certain people's body parts or kind of offensive. I mean, yeah, it's just it's just not going to work. It's just going to annoy customers, get a lot of accounts that weren't getting unnecessarily banned for no fucking good reason, and it's just going to explode in their face. Well, yeah, it is kind of a rant, and I just don't see it happening over at Microsoft. I just see it as a mess. Uh, Thank you for your time. I mean, I have nothing against them trying to stop the trolls. That's a good and noble thing, but trying to go after these people like this is just not going to work. You're going to end up with casualties on the other side who aren't even trolls or anything getting their accounts banned for no fucking good reason. And that's just sad. See ya.